Nana woo, nana woo, nana woo, woo. And every night before I go to sleep, all I can think of is about you. Yeah, yeah. And I can help if you can see the things I do for you. Trying not to make you see me through. I remember you will always by my side. Do you wanna make things right? I want you here with me. You're the only one I need. Even if they say there ain't a thing to offer me, all I want from you is just a little love, just a little love. I want you here with me. You're the only one I need. Even if they say there ain't a thing to offer me, all I want from you is just a little love, just a little love. Thoughts of you, it seems to make me cry. But you're gone away. You didn't see me eye to eye. Yes. Oh, baby girl, I ask myself why every night and day 1,000 times. Do you remember all the good things in life? Do you want to make things right? I want you here with me. You're the only one I need. Even if they say there ain't a thing to offer me, all I want from you is just a little love, just a little love. I want you here with me. You're the only one I need. Even if they say there ain't a thing to offer me, all I want from you is just a little love, just a little love.
Oh, yeah. Let me tell you about this girl I know. She give me loving like I never known. She looks at me with her eyes of an angel, no danger, knowing where she wants to be tonight. When I need her, she'll always be there, and it just no matter how far away. She's my woman, and I'm glad to be her man. She took my hand and said she can, and then I told her like this.
Thoughts of you, it seems to make me cry. But you're gone away. You didn't see me eye to eye. Yes. Oh, baby girl, I ask myself why every night and day 1,000 times. Do you remember all the good things in my life? Do you wanna make things right? I want you here with me. You're the only one I need. Even if they say there ain't a thing to offer me, all I want from you is just a little love, just a little love. I want you here with me. You're the only one I need. Even if they say there ain't a thing to offer me, all I want from you is just a little love, just a little love. Oh, just a little bit, yes. Oh, just a little bit, yeah. Oh, just a little bit, just a little love. Oh, just a little bit, yes. Oh, just a little bit, yeah. Oh, just a little bit, just a little love.
Dang, that song is awesome. That's by Pohaku. I believe they're from Waianae. If you ever saw their music video in OC16, they stay skanking down at Yokes, walking on the road. Well, guys, welcome to the Loaʻa Show, presented by the Scrappy Podcast. The Loaʻa Show is I try to think of this like late night Loaʻa action kind idea. It's late night show, Hawaiian late night show. This is where it's starting, and we'll see where it goes, right? But I do want to make it very clear that the values of the Loaʻa Show is number one, kuleana, not kuleana, but kuleana, and that's all about responsibility. And so, I take full responsibility of what I say on here, and the majority of this stuff that I share is for information or entertainment purposes or educational purposes. It is strictly my opinion. A lot of these things and my thoughts and my mana'o. Um, so you can take it or leave it. I mean, it's up to you how you perceive this video or take this information and share it and how it grows. Um, but that's one thing nobody can ever take from me is my mana'o. I mean, my mana'o is just my mana'o. Depending how I deliver it, whether intensely or not intense. Yeah, it's this one thing nobody can ever take from me is my words, my free speech, you know. And so I'm fired up to share of just the life that I live. The second value is pono. So I will do what's right according to my conscience. And I mean, if I'm wrong, like majority of my friends and even my family, I've apologized to if I've done them wrong or if I've done anybody wrong and I haven't apologized to you, I apologize right now. I mean, as far as my conscience goes, I'm clear with everybody. Uh, Number three is ho'ohana, worthwhile, purposeful. I want to make sure that um, what I'm doing, you know, is purposeful and meaningful to me, right? Uh, we gotta find what's meaningful to us in this life, right? We do work based on how it makes us feel, or at least most of us. Um, I fight the status quo of working a 9 to 5 job. Now I'm not saying anything's wrong with that. It's just in my mind, um, it's just like I'm a lousy employee, man. I had to resign because I couldn't follow rules and stay quiet on a particular subject, right? And so that that is an opportunity cost, right? For me to speak up and share my mind cost me my job, right? And so that is just regular principles. But for me to give up something needs to be held, or if you want to hold on to something needs to be let go. And so, you know, for me, I'm doing stuff that is purposeful and meaningful, bigger than me, I think. And I even know what am I don't even know what I'm getting a part of, right? It's way bigger than me, than Hawaii, and then I mean we can go into spiritual stuff or whatever, but we're not gonna go into that right now. I mean everything is spiritual, really, but as far as getting into details about that, find something worthwhile, purposeful. That's number three. Number four is aloha, right? Just like Pohaku said, just a little love. Like, man, that's all I want. You know, just a little love, just a little love from the ones that I love. Just a little love from the fake state of Hawaii. You know, come on, just help out Hawaiians, dog. DHHL, just a little love. Instead of sending drones, help us get some water. You know, just a little love. Aloha, right? Aloha is is seen in so many different ways, and it means a lot, right? Like how I mean, what is love, right? I was talking about that last night on my short little video. I was kind of spaced out, so I didn't finish it. It was a short little snippet, 6 minutes. But I've been on this row of what is love, right? And we'll talk a little bit more about that. But that's number four on the values list. And then Kanaka Waiwai, Helue Kahi, Native Hawaiian first. So, and the way I see Native Hawaiian is I'm not playing the blood quantum game anymore. Even though we have entities like Kamehameha Schools, DHHL, that do the blood quantum thing, right? That further pushes the American agenda, or at least the treasonous Hawaiian Kingdom members that push the agenda that you got to have a certain amount of Hawaiian to do these kinds of things, right? It's an American thing, right? The Hawaiian Homes Commission Act is a federal law enacted by Congress, right? That Kalaniana Ole did work for, right? He fought for us, you know. Of course, he knew 100% Hawaiians would have a little in today, right? So he bargained for the deal for 50%. But what I'm saying is, the whole reason of a lot of issues in Hawaii is because Kanaka Waiwai is not put first. Hawaiians are not put first, and I'm talking 1% to 100% Hawaiians. 1/32. If you get blood, you get blood. You Kanaka Waiwai. We're not gonna play this small N or big N game. But as it is, right? We playing this DHHL game. You gotta have 50% because it's a federal law, for the fake state of Hawaii. But that's what I believe, guys. It's Kuleana, Pono, Ho'ohana, Aloha, and Kanaka Iwi Helue Kahi. I live by 5 values on this show. And if you don't live by these, or if you don't agree with these values, then this show is not for you. The show is not for you, and you can go find another show to watch. Um, Definitely, this is a public platform. This is YouTube, so I'm opening myself up to criticism, which I encourage all of you guys to criticize me, because I could start criticizing people. I'm gonna start criticizing things that I view from my life. I'm gonna start criticizing um, public people, public figures like Josh Green, like Cully Watson, you know, like our Waianae Coast elected representatives. I will start criticizing you guys. I criticize myself every day, so I can get better as a human being, right? Right. I criticize so I can get better. I criticize, and a lot of my criticism will be of the heart to help people grow, right? Because we either growing or we're dying. There's no trying. You're either doing things to grow or you're doing things to die. And so that goes back to the idea of aloha, right? I was talking to my now ex-girlfriend. I asked her, what are you committed to? And she said she's committed to herself. And I thought about that, and I was like, that's smart. But then I questioned it. I was like, is that like of Hawaiian culture, that kind of idea, committed to self? Now you can like take that in like a couple different ways, right? Because like you got to be committed to yourself to take care of yourself, to malama ko'ukino, malama ko'ukino, no laila hiki au oe ke malama i nā po'e a pao. So if you take care of yourself, if you commit to yourself, then you can take care of other people. But then the other way you could take it too is like you just like committed to yourself in a selfish way that you don't care for other people. And so that's something I've been investigating. I haven't come to any conclusions on that. But from what I've been getting into, right, into the community stuff, it's like I guess you gotta like really investigate that line where you draw. Whereas like, because if I'm not committed to, oh, I mean, we're gonna figure out in real time, right? If I'm committed to those values, how about this? We'll start right there. I'm committed to those values, right? And it's pretty straightforward. Like, kuleana is just responsibility. Like, it's obvious that I have a responsibility to speak up. Check this out. My ex boss, right? She bought me the sticker Master Yappa. It's like I have the gift of the gab. I can talk story. I can talk. And so my gift, right? My kuleana is that I gotta speak up. Pono, just do what's right. It's a very clear line. Do what's right, and then for the most part, people's not always tell them like this is wrong what you're doing. You know, like these things are something like it's a what we call a shared agreement, right? You come on, you can watch this show. Like I want you to share these values with me, because if you don't share them, then like of course you're not gonna hear where I'm coming from, because we don't share values, right? Like in branding, right? Like you want to have shared values with your ideal clients. But anyways, getting off subject. My kuleana to speak up and talk, and so yeah, man, I think understanding what you're committed to, and I'm committed to growing. That's what I'm committed to. I've been thinking about, you know, because I mean, if I'm committed to growing, you know, it does it like if I say I committed to myself, that just sounds like, you know, like someone can interpret it that any which way, right? It opens you up to two different options of what being committed to is. But like being committed to growing, like I mean, that's clear cut. Like you don't have to interpret that any other way, because growing, and I guess you could, can you grow bad? I mean, you could grow and be bad, right? Or is that decaying? But most times we associate growing with becoming better as a human being. At least that's my interpretation. And so I am committed to growing. I'm committed to the values that I've created for the Loaʻa Show. And so I had a conversation with the lawyer yesterday about how I'm gonna go about this show, and so I can one make sure that I'm doing what's pono, and I'm making sure that my kuleana, right? Because there's this thing called reckless disregard for the truth. And if I find stuff out and I don't use it appropriately and use it in a manner that is not of malice, right? Malice is with vain intention to hurt, to do evil, right? Like I'm finding out things because the universe is bringing it to me, and then the universe is bringing it to me because I won't shut up. I find out something, right? I'm gonna talk about it. You know, and this leads into another thing too, right? Like about me, what's going on in my life, right? Because if I'm gonna expose stuff, my life has to be transparent too, right? And so that's the other risk I'm taking with starting this show, is that I'm opening myself up to there's just things I've done, and there's probably people that have documented it. They've probably saw it, testified, or whatever. Um, and so when those things arrive, because people are gonna try to like, I mean, there's always haters. So people are gonna bring that up, and then they might have receipts, they might have whatever. I don't care, cause I'm gonna face it when you guys bring it to light. I'm gonna face it, dog. I ain't afraid of anything that I did. I will eat it, and then it's up to you guys to decide, right? What you guys do if anything does come out. But you know what I mean? I'm just sharing this stuff on early on, so that being transparent with my guests, and as I build the Loaʻa Show into this like 100,000 followers, like that's my goal, 100,000 followers strong. And majority I would love Hawaii, but I don't really care. 100,000 around the world, um, and especially more for the younger people, right? I'm like smack dab in the middle of two generations. Smack dab in the middle of two generations. And I see the keiki, the opio. I'm technically opio too, bro. Keiki. Let's just say I moved up to keiki. You get kupuna, makua, keiki, and then opio. I may be leaving opio a little bit. I still have some, opio ways. And I'm growing though. I'm growing. Hopefully making the adjustment to keiki. I got to leave my childish ways behind. But hey, I'm growing and I'm learning. People can testify. um, but what I'm saying is that I'm doing my due diligence on my side to provide the best experience for you guys via YouTube or whatever online platform, right? Because I take this kind of work heavy. I take everything personal. I do. Now, how I respond when I do take things personal, that's a different story. And yeah, so I just wanted to open with that so you guys know exactly what you're gonna get on this show and what you can expect. Um, because I want you guys to know that it comes from a great place. And people who know me, they know that like I just not like no jack off the street that I'm spouting stuff off like because I just want to get attention. You know, I had to get actually the Loaʻa Show was kind of forced. You know, like Friday like really ticked me off. Last week Friday ticked me off. It's like, bro, you get fucking people spreading false information. Why not? And then no wonder things don't get done because you get five different people with five different understandings of information. So, you know, when you get misinformation going around like that, that's called like reckless disregard. So if you don't have the facts, you should shut up. And so, you know, doing this show is going to force me to get to the point where like I'm just going to base things off of facts. And then if anything outside of those facts that aren't substantiated, I'm going to have my opinion. And then my opinion can vary from every, you know, can be wide ranging the way that I think about things. And but the biggest thing that the lawyer said is how I say it now will, you know, kind of affect, you know, I can open myself up to liability on how I say it. So like I can say that, you know, for example, like I can say for a fact that Josh Green is a haole, right? Because he's number one, not from Hawaii, he's from New York. Number two, in my opinion, I don't think he has the heart of a Hawaiian, because this guy is doing backdoor deals, or you know, he's trying to fast track. Well, see, this is my opinion now, right? I think he's trying to fast track military land leases for $10 billion, fast, right, without getting any kind of consultation from the Hawaiians. And you know, it's all in you know, he's friends with Donald Trump, right? He's asking his daddy for money to help with the recent flood stuff, right? I'm not against asking for money, but like he opposes Trump, but now he's asking Trump for money. So they're friends. Josh Green, in my opinion, he's nothing different from Donald Trump. But see, this is all my opinion. This is all what I think. But he's definitely a haole, and he's definitely from New York, and so he's not Hawaiian. That's facts. You can go Google Josh Green. And why I keep on talking about Josh Green is because, right, if you guys really believe this is the state of Hawaii, then he's the leader of this state, right? Would you guys say that? Isn't the governor the leader? And so if you look at the state of Hawaii, and if you're honest with yourself, what kind of state are we in? You know, right now we're in a state of emergency because, you know, he's trying to declare the emergency so that we can get, you know, emergency funding. And then you got DHHL, right? Oh, who appointed Cully Watson? Oh, Josh Green. So who's Cully Watson's boss? Oh, Josh Green. Cully Watson, this is a fact. There's roughly 29 or more thousand waitlisters. Okay, so that's a problem, right? They said they cannot find land. I was just on the phone with the office the other day. It takes a year to just get my application processed, dog. 1 year. So technically, when I start reclaiming Hawaiian homelands, I'm gonna tell people that I am a pending Hawaiian Homes List beneficiary, pending applicant beneficiary. That's what I am. I'm a pending applicant beneficiary because technically I'm not a beneficiary until the application is seen and is accepted, and then I can go onto the list. Right? Once I get on the list, then I'm technically a beneficiary. But until I get onto the list, I'm just a pending applicant because it takes them 3 months to look at them, then it takes another 3 months for them to get to the point where they gotta look at them, and then that's 6 months, and then I don't know what they're doing with another 6 months. I mean, like administrative stuff. Oh, we moving into a new system. Just a little love, guys. I just want just a little love. So this show is about my opinion, my thoughts, my decisions, my actions, because that's all I can share about. I can speak for anybody else. I can only speak for myself. And if we align, if you and I align in what we believe, then like we have shared values. We have things in common, and most times I get along with people that I have in common, or that I have stuff in common with. If I don't have nothing in common with you, I'm probably not gonna hang out with you as much or even talk to you. I mean, I've been getting really, really, really tight on who I accept as friends now, because like my mind, I gotta protect my mindset, because a lot of people don't believe the things that I believe, and neither, people just come from different backgrounds, different upbringings, different things that they've learned, different programs that run their mind. We're just different, right? And I guess that's what makes it beautiful to come together, is that despite all the differences, right, we can get together. I mean, that's what life is about. That's the beauty of life. That's what makes life worth living, is finding the differences. But like when it comes to like life or death, which this is what I'm talking about, right? Because I'm talking about life or death situations for Hawaiians in Hawaii, in our homeland, that we get suppressed and oppressed in our own homeland. And so, especially with what's going on in the world right now, like deindustrialization and nationalism is going to be trending, right? Because of what's happening in the Middle East, gas is going up. And so what people are going to have to do is they're going to have to rethink, oh, bro, once gas hits $10, guys, and it will hit $10, I pray that it don't. But if they don't settle this thing in the Middle East right now, bro, gas is going to go up to $10. So that cuts into all of our monthly budgets, right? That we allocate it for gas. So now people in Waianae, we're not going to be driving out to town, right? Or people in town are not going to be driving out to Waianae. It's a big possibility. See, these things affect us. And we gotta understand what's going on in the world, because if deindustrialization is coming, that means we gotta go plant food. The ships are gonna stop coming. Like, I haven't looked up the update, but like the last time I checked, if the ships stopped coming, bro, 14 days. Like of like food in the stores, I think, at least. All that kind of stuff that's shipped here. Especially all the stuff that's shipped here. I'm not too sure how much food we produce in Hawaii to feed 1.4 million people. That is documented. In Waianae, right now is documented around 50. Board of Water Supply has roughly 50,000 customers in Waianae. Some other report said there's roughly 60,000 people in Waianae. I mean, how do we know how much people live in Waianae? Things are getting expensive, so people are moving out to Waianae, right? They might not be moving into new development, but they're moving into family housing. Everybody is like helping each other out. Families are moving back in because it's getting tough out there. That's the reality for a lot of us. So deindustrialization, right? We cannot rely on gas, cannot rely on petroleum. I gotta go get one horse. Yeehaw! So what does that mean? Food. Now I gotta start thinking, oh man, I gotta start planting food. I start growing my backyard garden. Like, these are the things that we gotta think about. Like, it can hit, right? The storm just hit. The Konalo storm just hit, right? The community has been complaining about stuff, But the state is too slow. The state and the city are too slow. They're worried about increasing budgets. Josh Green is gonna ask. He's putting a bill in right now to increase taxes. Right? They're gonna ask for more money instead of like cutting budgets. Oh, no problem. He acts just like Donald Trump. Oh, like spend. Oh, well, let's ask the people. Right? Because it's at our expense. Taxpayers, right? I'm not paying taxes anymore, by the way. I don't have a W-2 job. Praise God. even when I was working, I checked off exempt, or usually I claim 3, right? Like, I mean, I try to get as much money back on my paycheck as possible, because this is not tax advice or anything. This is just how I personally do it. Yeah, it's at your own risk. Just choose. I choose to like get more money back now than waiting to pay the taxes, because if I gotta go pay taxes, then I can just work it out with the state or the federal government, IRS, whatever. But I mean, I don't even make enough money to even like flag the IRS, and even if I did get flagged at what I make, I'm saying they just wouldn't waste their time with me, right? Because I'm not making enough money where they're like, oh, come on, Loaʻa, give us our pie, give us our share of our pie. So deindustrialization is upon us. That leads into nationalization or nationalism, right? Like, or even Waianaism. Like right now, I'm like, bruh, take care of Waianae. How can we take care of Waianae? How can we take care of Waianae? How can I take care of myself? How can I take care of my family? How can I manage the aina that I'm around, as to prepare for the future, so that at least my community will be taken care of? Because that's where we got to go, right? Like, Board of Water Supply is adopting this ahupua'a model, right? For the way that they want to run water. And so what they're saying is that they find a little bit of value in how the old Hawaiian system worked. See, the issue is that they're adopting it instead of just running with it. They got to run with it, because the Hawaiians, bro, had 500 plus thousand Hawaiians, and probably more, throughout the islands. They lived here sustainably, without any kind of ships, without any kind of protection, but they did it. So my point is, like, nationalism, right, is that you got to take care of your own. That's why I asked that question, is like, what are you committed to? What am I committed to? That's why I'm committed to growth, I mean, like, food grows, right? And then you get to eat it. And if I grow, figuratively, people can eat from me, right? Like, the idea of, like, bearing fruit. Like, having good qualities, right? Taking care of people, right? Leaders, right? We look at leaders, at least I look at a leader who leads me properly. And there's benefits that come from that leader, good or bad, right? I mean, you can't take the good without the bad. But for the most part, in your heart that this leader is leading you somewhere. Like, you can lead. Everybody's a leader. It's just the question is, where are you leading them to? So for me, I question the leadership of Hawaii, because, like, things ain't getting easier in Hawaii. We get taxed upon tax on tax on tax on tax on tax on everything, and he's about to raise the taxes even more. So it's like, what are they doing with the money? Oh no, we're just gonna trust them. They'll take care of us, right? You know how I know that? Because, we just had the Waianae Watershed Management meeting, and only a select leaders of the community showed up. And it's mostly kupuna. and this plan, they said they're gonna try to finalize them by next year, right? Just to update the plan, and then it's gonna take 20 years for it to implement. Majority of the people in that room gonna be dead. The community members that showed up, majority of them are gonna be dead. So what I'm saying is that we got things going on. Come on, parents. The ones that are, 40, in the 45s to my age and younger, like parents, you need to start showing up to these meetings, especially if you live in Y&I. Like, make it a point to show up to these meetings. Okay, you had a long day at work, bro. Show up to these meetings because your kids are gonna depend on it, especially if we're talking about water. Like right now, Y&I lives off about 9 million gallons of water per day. That's Nanakuli, that's Luolole, that's Waianae, that's Makaha, that's Keao. 9 million gallons per day. MGD. 9 million gallons per day. Waianae roughly produces 4.7 million gallons, which is just a little bit than half. Well, what is that? 4.5 plus 4.5, that's 9. So 50% or just a little bit more than 50% is pumped in from Pearl Harbor or from outside Waianae. It's not just all of Waianae's water is not just from outside. Waianae has some water, and then to meet the need, right, we pump them in. That's another issue about population control and whatnot. We can talk about that later. But what I'm saying is that there was little representation of the keiki at this meeting. I was, I always just gonna claim that I'm the youngest at these meetings, just to make a point that there is no representation of the younger generation, is what I'm saying. Yeah, you get the parents there and whatnot, but that's not. We need one keiki council. We get Kupuna Council. But, a lot of these meetings in Waianae don't incorporate the keiki. And so, because that's the ones, right? That's the ones that are going to benefit from decisions that we make today. And I think a lot of the times we don't make decisions based on thinking about them. I just going to question that. I'm not going to make that as a fact or a absolute. But that's the things that we got to be talking about. I'm concerned for the future of the world. Okay, yeah, I have a big heart. I understand, but then you got to break things down into manageable stuff, right? Okay, Hawaii. I care about Hawaii as a whole. Yes, I do. I do. Okay, but now I live in Waianae, born and raised. So this is, and then more so, I grew up, Kealo Pahe'ehe'e o Lulule, right? So the face side of Pahe'ehe'e on Lulule. This is where I grew up in. So my aina is Lulule. At least in my direct influence, I can speak up for this place and what's going on. And so I encourage everybody else, wherever you're at, right? Whether it's Ahupua'a, whether it's an Ili, whether it's a Moku, that you gotta wake up. You gotta step up. Like if you're in your 30s right now, you need to start speaking up for your Ahupua'a. And if you're already doing that, awesome. If you're not and you don't know what to do, bro, let's talk story. Because things are only gonna get harder. My prediction. I mean, I'm not saying that the future isn't bright. The future is bright, but I mean, to go without saying that it's not gonna be hard would be a lie. So we gotta fight, right? What does fighting look like? That's speaking up, that's showing up to meetings, that's sharing your mind, that's doing your research, understanding stuff, presenting it, not backing down for a paycheck or Well, I guess that's the other thing we gotta consider too, right? Like you gotta feed your family right here, right now, and you may be speaking up on certain things in your job where you shouldn't speak up. Maybe that's a strategy that you gotta use to protect yourself until you put yourself into a position, right, to malama your family without any kind of dependence on an outside influence of creating monetary value or any kind of value system to support your ohana physically, mentally. Make sure the opu is filled, right? Nobody wants a hangry loa'a. Overall, today I thought the meeting for the Waianae watershed management um, was good. I see where Board of Water Supply is coming from. I see that they're doing their best based on the construct and the framework in which they work. Now, I would challenge them to reconsider their framework and the construct in which they operate because they lead it from an American mindset. They don't lead it from a Hawaiian mindset. The Hawaiian mindset will consider the aina. The article just came out. 2 trillion gallons. These two Kona low storms, 2 trillion gallons is the data that was collected. 2 trillion gallons. Dog. Just on math alone, why not, right? I was telling you guys 9 million gallons per day. So if we do 9 million gallons per day times 365 days, right now, 3285 plus 6 zeros, right? Because it's 9 million. So right now, Waianae needs 3,285,000 gallons of water for a year to serve that demand. So that's 1 year. So let's just go times 20, right? Because it's going to take BWS 20 years to implement this Waianae watershed management plan. So let's just times 20, right? So 20 years, based on if everything stays the same, population doesn't go up, and we continue the same usage of water that we need right now, Waianae needs 65,700,000,000 gallons of water for the next 20 years. I mean, like, can you just imagine how much is 65 billion or 65,700,000,000 gallons of water, bro? Like, just think about the space that you're in right now. If you're watching this in a car or at home, like, just imagine that place filled up with 15 inches of water. I mean, that would be a lot of water, right? 65 billion. 6.7 billion gallons of water Waianae alone would need for the next 20 years to meet the demand of the current needs. I mean, that's like, so what I'm saying is that 2 trillion, I didn't read the full article of out of that 2 trillion gallons, how much was captured and whatnot, blah, blah, blah. That would be interesting information to know. But what I'm saying is right now in Waianae, I mean, I don't know, other than the aquifer, how we recharge, right? When the rain comes down, right? Part of that, they said a third. A third goes into the aquifer, a third is runoff, and the other third, I forget what the other third was. But what I'm saying is there's a plan inputted right now. But what I'm saying is if they came from a Hawaiian mindset, I think if they, instead of American mindset, they use a Hawaiian mindset, there could have been things in place already for us to capture water, right? One of the brothers that was working for BWS tonight was talking about like with the new science, new research, we can implement these kinds of stuff. And I was like, bro, majority of this information is captured by UH. One, I mean, I don't trust UH. I mean, do they have the best interest of the people of Hawaii? And even more so, do they have the best interest of Hawaiians? Because if they were leading with those kinds of attitudes that the Hawaiian culture took precedence in Hawaii, then a lot of things would be approached differently. But no wonder all of us is angry, right? Because they approach it from American mindset, right? And then a lot of the Hawaiians have been Americanized. So we need to denationalize ourselves by Hawaiianization, not Americanization. We gotta slowly denationalize this American mindset that we have. Now, it doesn't mean that we stop using toilets or we stop. Or actually, we gotta stop using toilets. We gotta start using compost toilets because flushing the toilet, that's using water. That's not a good use of water. Um, that's So there are some things, right, we gotta work through, right, to make sure that Hawaii is sustainable, because that's the biggest question. That's what Uncle Sparky. That was Uncle Sparky's question tonight. What do you guys need from us, right? We're telling BWS, what do you need from us so that we can make a sustainable community, right? Because the mindset and the ways that they're going about things aren't sustainable. It is not, because if it was, it would have been implemented a long time ago. But we assimilating to the American culture, which does not work for us, right? It does not work for us. It's obvious that Hawaiian people are unhappy with how things are going. I mean, who's happy? I mean, like, not in the sense that, like, I wake up every morning, I am happy. Like, I'm fired up that I get to live. I'm excited that I get to live. I'm not afraid to die. But why I'm alive, right? Why I'm excited. I use this energy to make it a better place. And at the rate that it's going, it's not becoming a better place, right? Is it? So I'm saying, I really think, right, that second part, right, deindustrialization is what's happening right now as we speak, right? Japan, even one Micronesian country, right? They're declaring emergencies because they don't have petrol, or they got to recalculate deals. They got to get petrol from Russia, and Japan creating deals with Russia because they just got to get oil to sustain their their um their nation, the way that they operate, right? If they stop using, bro, all that lights in Tokyo, bye bye. No more petroleum, right? Not a nice place to go travel to anymore, right? That's what's at stake. Same thing here in Hawaii, right? The two storms, they got roads closing, and all the tourists. Oh, I came to Hawaii and it's raining. Like, get out of here, dude. It's beautiful when it rains in Hawaii. I mean, my heart goes out to my Wailua, North Shore, Manoa, and everybody else affected by it. I'm not talking about you guys, right? That's real stuff. I'm talking about the fucking visitors and the howlies and these people that come in. And it's like, oh, I spent all this money to have a great time in Hawaii. I get that, I mean, but when we're facing issues and we're facing traumas here, like, you're like the first to go, tourist. Like, we don't need you here, right? A lot of the stuff in Hawaii is reliant on the tourism industry. It's reliant on the tourism industry, and so we pander to tourism. Okay, whatever. We can change that. That all depends on us, right? The people. We are in charge. We are in charge, right? The people get stuff done. We hui together and get stuff done. We're not relying on Josh Green or Rick Blangiardi. Most people don't even like listen to those guys. That's why they don't come out to the communities, because they don't nobody like listen to them. When did you ever see Josh Green or Rick Blangiardi come out to Waianae to rally? They've never done that. They serve a class of people that have money that control the votes. That is purely speculation and my opinion, FYI. The other thing I did today was the Poka'i Bay cleanup. That was awesome, man. Actually, I was kind of annoyed, right? they didn't. Whoever was planning it, they didn't post it well enough. And then I always go help Auntie Lynette. I'm not gonna say no to her. It's Pokai Bay even more so. I can go. That's my bay. You know what I mean? That's where I grew up, going to the beach all the time. Of course, I'm not gonna say no. So we was cleaning up. It was nice to have the army, the Hawaii Army garrison. Mahalo to what's her name, Colonel. Mahalo to Colonel though. You know who you are. Mahalo to my brother's keepers. They provided lunch. Hawaii Army Garrison provided manpower. Malama Makua provided some volunteers, and Colonel provided the water. Danny, shout out to Danny, Westside Surf Lessons. That's where he teaches his lessons. So he took it upon himself as a Kanaka, as someone who uses the beach to go and help his community clean up. That's the kind of guys you like do business with. You like go support those kind of guys, right? And yeah, it was great to be a part of that. There's so many ways we can help our community and take care of our ahupua'as. Like, get out there, take care, do your part. KK, I'm talking to the kids that play video games all the time. Get off the video games. Like, I'm not saying video games is bad, but like, come on, dog. Like, if you don't have a job, go find a job. If you're not building one, and if you don't have a job, start building one business. If you're not building one business, go help mom and dad or something. Go work Aina. Go volunteer. Get so many stuff to do instead of living life just to play video games. Like, I play video games too, but I prioritize. I never play for a long time, so a couple of days. I'm like whatever. Playing a long time. But don't get stuck in that. Prioritize your time. Do something that creates, not just consume, right? And that's the big thing, right? For a lot of us is decreasing our consumption. Decreasing the trash that we put into the bins. This is I'm talking to myself. This is how we all can grow, right? Because we got to think, get the Hawaiian, it's not even Hawaiian, it's in Chinese proverb, I think. It's it's a Chinese proverb, but I think they adopted it, Kaala Farms adopted it and turned it into a Hawaiian thing. And so, if you plan for 1 year, plant kalo. If you plan for 10 years, plant koa. If you plan for 100 years, teach the children. Okay? So, we got to do on recalibration of what we teaching the kids. The DOE needs help. We cannot rely on the state. We cannot rely on the U.S. Department of Education to teach our children, man. Because look where it's gotten us. So we as a community need to make sure we protect our kids from the Epstein files, from the Epstein people, from human trafficking. And then after we get a good solid pot on that, like we get that down pat, now we got to start teaching them economics. And economics is a whole beast in itself, right? We got to talk about moku economics. What does the Waianae moku economics look like, right? Working with the Waianae Economic Development Council, we touched on one part of economics. There's so many other things that we need to investigate to make sure that Waianae continues to survive and continues to thrive and continues to produce. This picture right behind me is the Waianae land use, right? The light green is all like conservation land. Then you got the second dark green, that's agricultural land. And then, it goes from residential to some other lands and blah, blah, blah. But what I'm saying is, Waianae is rich in culture, natural resources, and human resources. The Waianae, from Kahe to Kaena, we are rich. We are rich in all the things that we need to live. But we get people telling us, oh, you gotta go to town for work. You gotta leave Waianae. No more nothing in Waianae. It's a lie. We can survive in Waianae. If they put up one wall at Kahe Point, dog, we're gonna have electricity. You know, we go take over Kalailoa. We go create one Waianae township, and it's gonna include Kapolei. So at least we get, and then all the way to Kalailoa. You know, Honouliuli. So Moku o Waianae, Honouliuli, link up. We get everything we need. We're gonna have docks. We got power plant. Right? We just gotta figure out, reduce trash. So we can get one nuclear plant or something to burn everything that's at PVT and everything that's in Waimanalo Gulch, and create energy. So now we're gonna have energy. Then the farmers, we all gotta get back to growing. We all gotta go back to growing our own food, so that each ahupua'a has a specialization. That we get the fishermen, we get the kalo planters, we get the maia planters, we get the animal, we get the PP, and then we get the hipas. Every we gotta come together and divide, right? Of what ahupua'a are gonna take care of what, so that we can plan for the future. What if there's an invasion from Chinese, Russian? What's gonna, you know what I mean? Like we gotta have an emergency militia. Think about these things, guys. Think about it. You got Russia invading Ukraine. Ukraine has lost the war. You got the U.S. invading Venezuela. It talks about invading Greenland. Talks about invading Iran. Like, sovereignty is nothing to the United States. They only care about themselves. And at what cost? At death, right? America just brings death to the world. America was once a place that you could look up to, but not anymore. Not anymore. And so I raise these concerns as a human being, number one, because even though I talk about Kanaka Waiwai, Helu Ekahi, I'm just saying that because, like, that's the world I live in, right? I live in Waianae. I live among other Hawaiians, and that's my nation. That's my people. That's my blood, right? And so I fight for us, but I fight for humanity too, right? Because, like, yes, we are a little bit special in the fact that we are smack dab in the middle of the biggest ocean in the world. And so, that means we're connected to other ainas by ocean, and their energies flow to us. And so we're connected all in some way, shape, or form. But, right, like, to get focused on what's happening in front of us, my reality, which is Waianae, which is Moku o Waianae, which is Hawaii. Because if I can change myself, then I can change the people around me. If I can change the people around me, my family, then I can change, my street. If I can change my street, then I can change my town. And if I can change my town, I can change my moku. If I can change my moku, I can change my island. If I can change my island, I can change Hawaii. And, it's... I mean, to close this out, it's like, man, if you gotta be crazy if you want to change the world. And I want to change the world, man. Like, and it's gonna be done one mind at a time. So, for me, right, I'm super open to changing. And changing is immediate. It's a decision. It's a decision. Just like love is a decision. You make a decision to wash your throat. Whoever you are that's been watching it this whole time, you made a decision. That's love. And I appreciate you for that. But change, that's really what it comes down to, is that the people that are in power, right? they don't want to change. And that's really the people that we're gonna find and we're gonna expose, right, on the Loaʻa Show. Oh, at least on the Loaʻa Show, I'll create cases, because gonna be doing some investigative journalism, right? We'll build a case. And then we'll let it be judged in the court of public opinion. Like right now, dude, TPUSA is dead to her rights. Erica Kirk, if she didn't directly kill her husband, she conspired against him, and she knew, or if she didn't conspire, she knew something and she could have spoke up. Either way, she's implicated. They're already saying, like, it came out on all news channels, not all news channels, everything except mainstream came out that the bullet did not match, right? The 30-aught. They said that it was a 30-aught gauge bullet that hit Charlie's neck from the gun, but they're saying that the bullet that hit Charlie's neck does not match the gun. Bruh, it's about to get wild. FBI, CIA, man, America is in on this whole cover-up of Charlie Kirk. And Candace, you guys should go follow up on this Candace Owens thing. But what I'm saying is, like, change, right? The thing is change. Change comes from the heart, the houseless guys that ask for money. Oh, it should change. It's like, uncle, change comes from the heart. So I encourage you to change, right? Change the way you think. Change the way you operate, because maybe it might be for the better, but that's up to you. So I leave you guys with this question, right? I think that I'll keep on. It's gonna be a theme. What is love? What is love to you? Is it a decision? Is it a feeling? Is it BWS taking care and Malama, the public water trust? Them holding the military, residential, and government uses of water. That's love. Right? It's all about love. Right? Well, guys, man, it's been an hour and 2 minutes. Thank you for sticking with me. The reason why I named this episode, right, Kanaka Waiwai, is that actually let's go find that song so I can talk about it. I can read it, right? Makiala hele o Yesu I halavai aku ai me ke kanaka o pio hano hano kaulana I ka waiwai pane mai ka opio e ku'u haku mai kai he aha ho'i kau e hana aku ai I loa'a e ke aola mau e ha'awi lilo I ko mau waiwai huli aha hae mai ia'u I loa'a ke aola mau. On the path that Jesus traveled, he met a dignified young man famous for his wealth. This young person asked, my good Lord, how do I acquire eternal life? Give all your riches, then turn and follow me, and you shall receive life eternal. Like the meeting tonight, thinking about, this, is that wa'anai is vaivai, and no puke vehevehe, so vehevehe.org defines vaivai as goods, property, assets, valuable, value, worth, wealth, importance, benefit, estate, useful, valuable, rich, costly, financial, probably related to vai, water, to retain. So talking about, like, there's a different meaning of vai, to retain, rather than to vai, water. So, like, retain, right? So, like, Kanaka Waiwai, the story was about this young man, right? Jesus asked the young man, what must I do to get eternal life? And so Jesus is like, let go of all of that you retain, your possessions, because he found value in that. And then he said, go give to the poor, and then you come follow me and you have eternal life. So, consumerism, right? That's like the Kanaka Waiwai, right? You gotta give up the consumerist lifestyle. You gotta give up the American lifestyle to save Hawaii. Vai Sikumu vai ole vai hao booty, spoils, goods of any kind seized are appropriate vai kiko ola, miscellaneous values ho'oponopono vai administrator of property or of an estate vai loa'a vai loa'a make kolohe, ill-gotten gains komike vai financial committee ho'o vai to enrich, bring prosperity. Source vehe.org. Just type in vai. So you can go look that up, right? So like when I think about vai, I thought about vai, but then I thought about wealth, right? Actually, vai has it said nothing to do with like wealth per se. It just more talked about like the idea of Kanaka Waiwai. The song is like Jesus asking this kid, telling this kid, if you want eternal life, you got to give up your possessions. And so what that has to come with is change, right? You got to change your mind, our possessions, Americanization, consumerism. Like that's what we gotta give up, right? For wa'anai to be vai. In the essence of like one, malaming the water, right? Because if we run out of water, there's no life. And so we gotta think about those things. But yeah, I'm gonna find that song right now. Close us out with the old school Johnny Alameda, Kanaka Waiwai.
I don't even use an agency anymore.
What? Then how are you running ads?
Oh, I started using.
Guys, thank you for watching. I love you. Till next time. Aloha, guys. Have a great night. Aloha. Until the next time.